a scientist.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black.
Please. You'll wait for death. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Warning, the following show contains conservative posturing, radical Christian ideas, and may offend pagans, Wiccans, Islamic fundamentalists, and other unenlightened individuals. Callers and guests may be subjected to brash and offensive comments by the hosts and any other type of bullying tactics available. But that's okay. We know why you're here. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system. Tonight is Monday, January 14th, 2008.
Sorry. That thing's a chunk, man.
Oh, wow. Did you hear that? It like hit at the same time? Never mind. Maybe I'm just...
No, it's ghosts, man.
Seriously. God almighty. This is Jay Scott.
And this is Chuck Browder here. Chuck on the fabulous world of the Unexplained.
Yeah, Chuck is sitting in tonight for Trent Lackey. Big shocker there. Trent, I know you're out there listening.
Well, no, I'm sure he is, man. He'll be happy with you.
Yeah, he will be. He always is. It's one of those things, man. You know, Trent's got the flu, and we don't want it, so we told him to stay at home.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that's probably all for the best, man. I definitely don't need to get sick.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get over this, what I've got. It's awful. Luckily, I had my flu shot this year. Hopefully, that'll protect me.
Yeah, apparently that did wonders for you.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Can we tell? Good stuff. Anyway, we want you guys to give us a call tonight, 86... God, I am out of it. 877-722-7382 or locally 336-996-1596. Tell us what we sound like because we're having some technical difficulties here. Chuck believes it's the operating system with the computer.
It may have been compromised.
Yeah, well,
by hackers.
It could be. They don't like the show, man.
Or maybe just
they don't want to let
internet porn.
They don't want to let me get out my First Amendment constitutional rights to free speech and liberty, brother.
Is that what you call it?
That's what I call it. Killer music, man. I can't reach it. But yeah, turn it up. There we go.
Yeah.
So anyway, but Wednesday night on Third Rail Radio. Make a shameless plug for our
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check it out at www.thirdrailradio.com.
Yeah, who we got?
So far, we've got your buddy
Jim Gilchrist.
That's right.
Minuteman
the Minuteman
Project,
movement.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have to talk to you about the other one that we have lined up. I don't know if we're going to have him this week or
later
maybe some other point in the future.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got his contact information. We may have a special guest tomorrow night too, U.S. Congressman. So I'll keep my fingers crossed. Here.
Oh, the thing we were talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. It has something to do with the scheduling. It was the same thing with Kucinich as well when we were trying to book him. Just that time of the week to do a live interview, it may conflict with their congressional duties. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
Congressional duties. Come on, we know they're playing poker.
Well, it has to do actually with the committees, and I think having to be there for I don't know the votes or I'm not exactly sure. It's the senior guys that get on the committee. Yeah, they have to stay after school.
After school. Oh man. So anyway, like I said, once again, Trent's not going to be here. Check out that show, though, thirdrailradio.com. What was I going to say? Oh, did you hear about this thing in California?
What thing in California? The only thing I've heard about it going on in California has been the writer's strike for the last
No, that wasn't what I was talking about. They've come out with this thing, and there's been such a public outcry about it because the government wants to come into your house and trade out your heating and air system and put this little device in there that will allow them to regulate the temperature inside your home. I'm not making this up. I know it sounds like it. But they'll be able to cut you off and say, no, you're using too much resources here.
It sounds like Jimmy Carter invented it.
But no, really, I mean, that's what they're wanting to do. And they had to, they were trying to start phasing in now. Have everybody phased out. Every new house that's built was going to have one. And, the pre-existing, if, you got your system redone, it would have to have that. So, but there's been a lot of public outcry and things like that. I don't know what's going to go on with that. I just thought it was interesting, though, because the public heard about it and then they got crazy with it.
Well, I don't know. That does seem like it could be a potential violation of civil liberties. I mean, if you want to, incur higher charges for
Oh no, hang on a minute. Who is it?
Oh no, what?
She didn't tell me.
Oh no.
So she's not going to be on tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, we have another guestless show. It looks like Lorraine Warren has informed us that has been a death in her family, and oh man, I have to call John and give my condolences, and we want to send our condolences out.
Do you know who it
as
is?
well. I don't. That's why I'd ask.
Okay.
I'd ask Dee to talk to her. Oh, that's terrible. Okay.
I told her maybe we could call her some other time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we hope we're sounding okay out there, guys. Give us a call, please, and let us know what we're sounding like, because, like I said, we've been having some issues here that we're going to have to work on a little later tonight to see, to make sure that we're okay. Yep, I think we've been compromised.
Yeah, it's not looking good there.
No, it's not. Oh, on another note, though, I did speak with Mr. Johnny Garman today, and he told me that he was holding in his hands a copy of the new book.
What new book?
The book that we had him on about. You're not a Democrat. You just think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he's gonna be sending us one, obviously.
Very nice.
There's a third rail.
We'll have to have him on the third rail then.
No, there's a thirdrailradio.com preface there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And it says, Jay Scott hosts thirdrailradio, .com and all that, or something like that. It says something like that, host Third Rail Radio, and it's got the website underneath it.
So why does it have your name in it?
Because I'm the one he has to write the foreword.
Oh, I got you.
So I wrote the foreword for it, and then at the end, I just put, host Third Rail Radio, and then it's got thirdrailradio.com beneath that.
No,
so
very
that's
cool.
Gonna help,
Very cool.
That's going to help boost the other show.
Definitely. I'll have to check the old AW stats on it at some point, man, and let you know how that worked out.
He does want to come back. He does want to come to our other show, Third Rail Radio. He does.
I'm not so sure that he's a Republican.
Oh my gosh, you're not a Republican. You just think you are. Chuck's gonna write a book now.
Maybe I will, just in response to your buddy, man.
You're not a libertarian. You just want to be one. Oh man. Oh well, Dee's got something for us. It looks like. Thank God we have something. Speaking of spooky things, what's been going on spooky wise, guys?
Spooky wise, well, I mean, there was that tiger attack.
Oh God!
At the zoo, man. That was pretty spooky. Except it came out that the kids that were mauled by it, other than the guy that I guess died, the other two apparently have been shooting a slingshot at it, taunting it.
Oh, that's real good.
And then I guess a couple days later, one of the fences there had a security breach, and a tiger or a bear or something poked its head through, man. Got people all scared. So there are problems at that San Diego Zoo. Problems.
Excuse me. I think I'm having problems too.
Yeah.
Here's the Pulp Fiction screenwriter was arrested in California on Sunday on suspicion of manslaughter and DUI after a car crash that killed a man and injured Avery's wife. Wow. Oh, look, the collision, it was a single car collision. Yeah. You might have been drinking if. Right? It was a single car collision, and it happened after midnight. Hey, another ding, 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 right?
Yeah, if you're not 16 years old and you wrapped your car around a telephone pole, you've
been drinking.
Yeah, exactly. There's no other explanation for it. Or running from the police.
Well, let's see. He killed, someone, well, I'm not going to say he killed because I don't know the facts of this for certain, but a man named Andreas Zinni, he's 34, resident of Italy. He was visiting with them, and he was killed in the accident. Okay, so these are buddies. They're all riding together. His wife, Gretchen, 40 years old, was ejected from the car and found on the road by deputies. She's in the hospital. And apparently they booked him, released him on a $50,000 bill, and they didn't know if he's hired an attorney. He won the Academy Award for writing Pulp Fiction and recently oh, this is awful. His career's going down the tube. He recently co-wrote the epic Beowulf.
Really?
Well, no, that's right. That might be the new one. That might turn out to be a blockbuster. I don't think that's out yet.
No,
is
it has been out, and I'm
it
not
has
sure.
been out?
I don't think it did all that well.
I was thinking of the one with the Beowulf with.
No, it was that CGI one where they used the same stuff they used for the Polar Express with the creepy Tom Hanks and the waiter. Yeah, it was terrible, dude.
I was thinking about the one with what's his name, the Highlander, Christopher Lambert.
Nah,
He did
a Beowulf too.
Yeah. You've seen it too, haven't you? I knew it. I knew Dee. If there's a B film out there, Dee has seen it, dude. Dee has seen all of them.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a Beowulf movie that was worth a damn.
What you got, man?
I don't know. I was trying to find a decent one here. I've got the Mars spacecraft. I saw a little bit about it this morning.
What is this? I haven't heard of this.
It passed Mercury, and I guess they got some pretty good shots of it. Pretty good shots of the atmosphere there during the flyby. Messenger, which is the name of the probe. It has 7 scientific instruments on it. Was scheduled to take more than 1,200 pictures of the area of the rocky planet photographed before, and to make measurements and surface chemical composition. Gravitational fields. I guess take samples of the wispy atmosphere, which I wasn't even aware Mercury actually even had an atmosphere. I just kind of thought it was like the moon, just sort of this sun, baking, sort of a round piece of terracotta.
Yeah, definitely, because that's what it is, man. It's close. It's very close.
But yeah, it's. I'm sure it's probably fascinating to a lot of astronomers, and I'm even a geek. I'm to Star Trek and all this stuff, but this one doesn't even really catch me. It just doesn't do much for me. I'm sorry, listeners. But if you guys are interested in it, you can give us a call here at 877-722-7382. And maybe I'll read the rest of the article on the air. Why not?
Maybe I'll read the rest of the article.
But only if you guys are interested.
Okay.
But I don't know what else you got over there, man.
Let's see here.
I'll try and find one here.
Theft victim confesses to selling weed.
What?
Yeah.
What theft of what?
Let's see. Alleged drug dealer. Let's see here. Called the police to his home after his stash of marijuana and $3,200
This isn't the first time I've heard of this.
My pot was taken, officer.
You would be surprised how often that actually happens.
It's reported.
Yeah. There was a DA I took class with a number of years back with, man, that told us the same thing. You would be shocked, to find it, all the contraband that people try and report stolen. And isn't that an admission of guilt? You're a lawyer.
Yeah, that's that's stupid, is what that is.
But he
said that he said that he quote he just sells to he said quote I just sell to my friends. That's why he was mad. His friends got cut out, man. He just sells to his friends. I mean, I may have reported the $3,200, but I definitely would not have reported the marijuana.
But
by the way,
don't you think the authorities would have asked, well, "What are you doing with 32? What 3,200 or 32,000?
3,200.
Oh, it's 3,200.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Well, I guess that's not a terribly large amount, but I mean, still, they'll probably ask you. They would ask me, "What are you doing with $3,200?"
We know what you're doing.
I don't believe in banks.
I don't believe in banks. I'm old school, man.
Heading down to Tijuana. Gonna have me a good time. Maybe even see myself a donkey show while I'm at it.
I think some of that stuff is just way bad, though. You know what I mean? I mean, it's awful. What they do, they grab people. You got a bunch of money with you or something, and they're gonna ping you for it. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
They say the cops pull you over and they see you with, I don't know, $10,000 in cash in your pocket.
Yeah, they could easily just take it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're involved in something illegal. How do you know? I just don't want to carry $10,000 around in my pocket. I mean, I don't know. I mean, suppose I'm going to buy a car and I've got a down payment. Of course, then you would be able to explain it that way. But how many cops are going to, follow you to the car lot?
Well, how many people would... I mean, I guess you'd report, if you had money stolen or seized from a police officer.
Oh, yeah.
But who's to say they even have to turn it over?
They do. They do.
They turn it over?
They have to turn it over, man.
You know.
Otherwise, they're breaking the law
Yeah, that's right.
that they've swored up.
And police officers never break
They
the
never
law.
break the law. Oh, heck no. They never lie on the stand either. Let me tell you that from experience.
I've seen some up on the stand, man. I've seen some.
Wait, you're gonna like this. Let me jump in front. I'm gonna break in line like a little kid. Video ads are planned for grocery carts. Seattle, Microsoft Corporation's bringing digital advertising to the grocery cart. They spent 4 years working on this Plano, Texas-based Media Cart Holdings Incorporated, a grocery cart mounted console that helps shoppers find products in the store, then scan and pay for the items without waiting in the checkout line.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Starting in the second half of 2008, they plan to test this in Wakefern Food Corp's ShopRite supermarkets on the East Coast. Customers with a ShopRite loyalty card will be able to log into a website at home, type up their grocery list, and then they get the store and swipe their card on the console, and the list will pop up. Then they can scan their items and place them in the cart, and it gives you a running price tally and checks the items off the list. Isn't that cool?
That makes it quite a bit easier, I guess, man.
You'll never forget the milk again.
Well, here's the scary part. Here's the scary part, though. The system also uses RFID data.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how they bill you.
I'm sure it is. Let's see here. You can also be used to send certain advertisements to people at certain points, like an ad for 50 cents off of Oreos, for example, when the shopper enters the cookie aisle. Microsoft says they're still working on how they're going to present commercials and coupons. I am so sick and tired of advertising. You're bombarded with it on the internet. You're bombarded with it by us, sometime on the internet, but you're bombarded with it everywhere you go, even to the point where the movie theaters now, you can't even go in there without seeing an ad. I mean, it's cool to see a preview because you're all hyped about that, but an advertisement for Coca-Cola or a car dealership or, they're forcing us to watch these advertisements. It's awful. We've got Ron Paul on the line from Raleigh. Ron, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Jay. How's it going, man?
Good. How do we sound out there tonight?
You sound pretty decent over the phone, but I had to turn down my laptop. It was sounding pretty righteous up until I had to turn it down.
Okay.
How am I sounding? I got a new LG, man. Does it sound better? Call-in phone?
I'll let Chuck answer that.
No dice, man. Hey, you're kind of cutting in and out here.
But that's okay.
Is it Verizon coverage? Because that's the same stuff I've gotten.
Yeah, it's Verizon coverage, man. Not wanting to drop any names, but,
Yeah.
slow, that's thick in this neck of the woods.
And, they're supposed to have some of the best coverage out there. And, go figure.
Hey, I'm pretty pleased with it so far. It's got a lot of features. I'm almost too pleased with it. You're talking about that advertising and stuff, and I happened to see a show, I want to say it was Tyra Banks, but I'm not sure what the name of it was, like a daytime talk show, and they had people on from Seattle, and they were terrorized by people who could turn on their cell phones and could, activate the camera remotely and use the imagery that they got to basically stalk 3 or 4 families simultaneously.
Yeah, I had heard about this, actually. A cell phone hack, that's what you're talking about, so that you can view, and that's just crazy.
Yeah, or even just the audio thing, like if knowing somebody has a live mic inside your house makes me sometimes leave my phone out in the car, Even though it's a nice phone, I want to have it around all the time. You can use it like an alarm clock, but the last thing you want is somebody just flipping a mic on and figuring out what you're doing in your own house.
Well, the same thing I had heard, if you leave an open telephone, a landline open, that, supposedly, if the police or the CIA or whoever were listening in on your conversation, they could hear it that way. I'd also heard that the same deal with a cell phone, that it can always be switched on, just like you're saying, and so that that our intelligence network here in the United States could be using that to spy on people or survey them.
Right, and that's why, in a political year like this, when it's an important thing to get involved in politics, so that at least you're partially represented in operating the government, because that's the dreaded two-edged sword of technology. I don't really want walking around in a grocery store and have some guy watching me on the camera dropping me little doggy biscuits of 50% off coupons to get my reaction, on a thermal camera array. I guess I'm saying I want rights to myself. I want rights to my DNA, so nobody snags the best genes out of me. Because I got my moments where I approach some sort of brilliance. So it's like I don't want somebody grabbing those genes and leaving me with the rest of it. And I don't want anybody to be able to, like, the way I look at it, a TV is if they're broadcasting some kind of image other than the one you can see, for whatever it is that they're broadcasting, then the second it TV screen enters the room I'm in, I'm sort of like declaring it art. Like, the art around Ron extends all the way to the screen. So they can't claim copyright once it's broadcast into my room. I'm interacting with it. It's mine now, is what I feel like telling them. Don't try to claim me in my own room. That's just wrong. And that's what I feel, networks, it's almost their job to do it. They're brutal. They're just licensed corporations. Everybody looks at the TV like it's a member of the family almost, and it's not. It's a device. It's on the other end of it. It's a brutal, and corporations have to be brutal and ruthless by their creation. They're not people. They're groups of people that use mathematics to gain a goal, an economic goal. So they're not out there.
Gee, I'm surprised you're not an Edwards supporter, man.
Oh, please don't say that again. I'm trying to.
You sound pretty anti-free trade too.
Well, the thing is, you can't really be polite in politics because he's not going for senator. He's going for the national office. So, I've said before what I think about Mr. Edwards, and it's just that I don't think he.
What was it, Amway salesman? Is that what I heard?
Oh, you're trying to get my credentials? No, I never sold Amway.
No. What you called him?
Yeah, we called him.
Right. Yeah. Well, basically, I wasn't too impressed with any of the things that he's done in the last 4 years. I was waiting for him to.
He hasn't been in office for the last 4 years.
Well, not all right. Not last 4 years, but his tenure that he spent in office. He didn't really fight hard to try to correct the things that were.
Actually, he was named most accessible politician. I think it was of 99 or 2000.
You got a lot of time when you do nothing, man.
I don't know. You can look at his record, man. There's quite a bit he authored in only 6 years. What has Obama done in the 4 years that he's been there?
A national talk show host got out and said, what were his real credentials for being
John Kerry had been there for 20 years and never authored or sponsored one piece of legislation.
John Kerry is a unique piece of work, and I won't go there. I think that guy, I don't know how he got into office. His people keep voting him in. It's the only thing I can say. But,
he's a politician.
He's the junior senator from Massachusetts. He's been there 20 years.
Psychological casualty of the Vietnam War that got preyed on by communist provocateurs is what it looks like, if I had to pick something out of the hat.
What was that, Ron?
I said Kerry looks like a psychological trauma victim of the Vietnam War. They got picked up on and manipulated by some classic communist saboteur, assassin, radical type people, and manipulated at least at some point in the 60s.
Oh, the whole Jane Fonda, Hanoi Jane thing. Is that what you're talking about, man?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Go back to your ancient history. It's like back then they had a lot of things going on with the government. There was, people were trying to overthrow the government to get to the highest office in the land because that's what controlled nuclear weapons. Back in those days, it was all militaries. The Russians had a big military. The Chinese had a huge military. We had a pretty big military, and we had most of the nuclear weapons. So the only thing really keeping everybody else at bay. Remember?
And that was when who was in office, Ron?
Gee, I don't know.
Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, yes, sir. Big, strong military, strong U.S. Look at our muscles. Flex, flex. Ronald Reagan. That's right. Enough said.
Hey, well, who keeps nailing Reagan pretty good these days is Al Sharpton.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
That Al Sharpton's been nailing some of the old statements that I think Reagan's made about, having a racist tendency to some of them.
Oh, Al Sharpton's being racist?
Well, speak of being racist, have you seen what the Clintons have been saying lately?
I've caught a little bit of it. I have to work during the day, so I can't really listen to
Dick Morris called this. He called it right after the Iowa caucus that this was going to happen, that they would be the Clintons would be covertly racist.
Covertly racist?
How are you covertly racist when you're running?
Well, you use racial undertones in your rhetoric.
Okay, like what?
Well, for instance, she said, I'm paraphrasing it, while King had a lot of nice words and had a lot of, optimistic stuff he said, it was Johnson, a white guy, who got things done. And then, it was, I think it was the former president of BET got up over the weekend and was defending the Clintons, saying, that, they've been champions for black causes for 30 years now. And you go and you look in Barack Obama's book to see what he was doing 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, the
talking about him doing blow.
Yeah, the dissatisfaction of the American people is pegging, though. People are really, really angry. It's not just Katrina or the war. It's just like almost every single issue, including the economy and the price of everything, gas prices going up. It's got a lot of people frustrated, and most Americans are dealing with it really well. But to try to present yourself politically and say, give me a break and recognize me for the fact that I wield this tremendous political machine doesn't seem to be working very well for the Republicans, who seem to all be floundering, or the Democrats. It's basically, at this point, my take on it is that it's looking more and more like people are trying to, or whether it's voluntary or on purpose or by some kind of design, they're almost bowing out. Like, remember I was saying Giuliani looked like he had really strong executive characteristics and be able to do this. He's gone straight for taxes. That's his big thing. Most people.
Hey, he's not doing anything, man.
Yeah, well,
unless Fred Thompson pulls out anything in
corporate taxes. That's the product of his environment. That's how his environment limited him in that presidential capacity, because he couldn't think outside the box.
He was a mayor that it could say nothing more than 9/11, 9/11, 9/11.
Well, it was not just that. It was that he went through 9/11. He was traumatized by it too. You guys you're sometimes you are a little rough on people on the show.
No.
Well,
Well, I mean, he's a lame duck. The only reason that anybody liked Giuliani is because he was the mayor and he did his job on 9/11.
People forget that he was a very unpopular mayor prior to 9/11.
Wait a minute. Anybody would have done the same thing. Anybody would have done the same thing on 9/11 that he did if they were in his shoes. Anybody, because that's his job. That was his job. He was the mayor. I mean, he's the one that caused probably part of the problems that they were having.
They might have listened to their advisors and put the
communications HQ somewhere else,
6 blocks away.
Yeah. Terror attack doesn't come under the mayor's normal job, though. That's like blowing up a major portion of his city, and it was a strategic attack on our economy. At least the attack on the towers part was.
But you like to give him credit for being the executive of that city.
Well, I mean, I see both your points. It's like, sure, he's doing his job, but he did his job, and he did it as, people would say above average. He didn't lose control of the situation. The city responded well. That says something for all the people that he was responsible for putting in place, and all the things that he had worked with the public about being prepared to do. And that just the resiliency of New York City itself is that the people were Americans. They responded like Americans should within that limited time frame. And, it's like not limited time frame, the aftermath of the trauma caused by it or any of the major minor disruptions associated with September the 11th. But it's the same thing with Katrina, It's how much of our country can we rebuild if things like this happen? And there's going to be something else. It's not even like a terrorist attack. We have volcanoes here. We have the New Madrid fault zone. This is the Yellowstone caldera. Like, it's a gigantic caldera sitting underneath Market Yellowstone. So it's not like there's not a lot of problems that could cause Katrina or bigger type disasters.
You're supporting Obama, aren't you?
Obama's got my support tacitly right now because I'll tell you why. Because he is articulate and support himself. The one thing that and Obama does not have to prove the vision.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
So Clinton's not articulate. Edwards is not articulate.
I don't.
Or is he articulate?
Especially.
Or were you saying that he's articulate for a black man?
In that he can respond to that people actually have concerns and expect actual. Everybody's flat.
Ron,
I'm going to stop the ship and throw the ladders over and let you climb onto the ship. Where the Clintons and the Republicans, and it's not just the Clintons, it's the Republicans and the Democrats are saying we're not stopping the ship for anything. We're just going to roll right on through, and if we can drop a boat to get you, that's beautiful. But it's more about the system. And Obama is trying to say he's the kind of guy who's going to stop the system and look at what people need. Is what I think is got like a appeal of the second or third generation immigrant.
Don't kid yourself, Ron. Obama, while he is very idealistic, is very, very slick.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to be slick to enter into the political environment.
No, I'm not talking about that. To have not had the level of scrutiny and have gotten as far as he has is extremely slick. He knows how to play the game just as well as any of these other people. I don't think he's as pure as you're making him out to be by any means.
I'm not saying he's pure. You can't be pure. That's one of the few things. It's like when you assess a man who's going to go for the president, is he an honest American citizen? Will he represent?
But does he have any experience? You're going to point to 8 years in the Illinois legislature, his time working in inner cities with youth. I mean, come on, Ron. Excuse me, but seriously, the guy just does not have. And Gravel was on Third Rail last December. I don't know if you had a chance to hear the show.
I may have caught
But
it.
we had a former senator tell us that he thought, and I'm not sure if it was out of both camps or just the Democratic field, but that Obama was the most dangerous candidate, period.
Well, his advisors certainly appear to be dangerous.
No,
So
I mean
can say,
dangerous
well,
as an
I think
idealistic, that he actually believes the nonsense he spews.
Ooh.
Well, there's two ways to look at advisors, especially if you're looking at like a more, a camp of thinking of like an African camp of thinking, I guess you could sort of say. I don't want to say that and have that quoted in the context. That
Oh, come on. Tell us about, explain the African camp of thought for us, Ron.
Well, what I'm saying is in the Middle East or in
There's
parts of
articulate
Africa,
African camps.
you think about politics in a way that you want to have two sets of people that you constantly monitor: the people that you're going to represent and the people that you think are going to try to disrupt your system or have even the mathematical potential to disrupt your system are all represented in your political system. So in other words, it would be the more brilliant of a candidate would have the whole system represented in what he carried around him at all times, and thus was monitoring the whole thing at all times by having key people in place that allowed him to see things through his staff and as well as interacting with the public. Like, you can represent the public and still be surrounded by people. Look at D.C., and it's a perfect example. You have to be able to operate in an environment like that. And right now, people coming from, I guess from like a senator to the D.C. thing often feel confronted by all the formalities and the rituals that go along with being in the public office. So having a staff that, like the Clintons had a pretty radical staff and they got elected. I don't think having a radical staff is bad.
Actually, Bill Clinton was a pretty he ran as a moderate, both times in '92 and '96.
But he had bomb carrying communists on his staff. The second he got elected, he appointed all kinds of radicals who literally went around with their goal in mind was to either storm the Pentagon or blow up some federal building.
Actually, no, he appointed a lot of conservatives. Bill Cohen was a Republican.
Well, he probably did both. I mean, president does a lot of things. I don't think we can flip a coin and slam it down.
I mean, Jocelyn Elders comes to mind. Janet Reno maybe, but even she wasn't all that liberal.
Yeah, but Janet Reno was just kind of scary.
She was just incompetent.
Man. Oh, she was also very much into chemistry. What was she doing in the Attorney General's office? Was she making a lot of chemistry?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what she was doing there. The first two people that Clinton nominated to put up there for the Attorney General position both had illegal nannies that worked for
I
him.
remember that.
Yeah, and both of them had to step down.
My
resign their
illegal
nomination.
nanny got me fired.
Yeah, well, then you never had the job in the first place. So how did you get? He just didn't get the job.
Well, you know more about it than I do. I don't have I'm not a political filing cabinet for facts. I just look at people and try to assess them as best I can.
I'm a political filing cabinet for
You are,
really.
Chuck. You're a political filing cabinet, yes.
Maybe I need to travel up to the Beltway, man.
I hear you.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad thing. Is to have the facts in front of you.
I'm going to run, man. Why not?
You need a lot of grooming there, my friend Jay Scott.
No.
A lot of grooming.
I'll speak my mind. I'll tell people I'm here for change.
And you need to find a distant president somewhere in your distant family tree.
Oh, really? I need that too?
Uh,
Yeah, you do need, according to David Icke, and I don't know, I guess a few other researchers out there.
David Icke, give me a break.
I saw him recently, man. He's a pretty awesome dude. We need to get him here. If we don't get him here, we need to get him over at Third Rail even, man, and talk about that presidential thing, that book he wrote.
Yeah, we can get him back.
He's awesome. Yeah, we probably should take a break.
Ron, we're going to
We should probably let you go, man. Save your minutes.
Buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. I didn't want to die on the vine anyway.
But I hope we weren't too rough on you tonight, man.
On my course. Believe me, I entered more dangerous ground than I had anticipated, so you did well.
Thanks for calling, Ron. We'll talk to you later.
All right, God bless you guys later.
God bless you. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. Actually, probably a long break, probably about 10 minutes. And we'll be back. You're listening to World of the Unexplained.
That's right.
And you're listening to World of the Unexplained, and we're back. I know it doesn't sound like a World of the Unexplained tonight because, well, unfortunately, our guest, Lorraine Warren, had to cancel due to a death in the family. We extend our condolences to her and her family tonight. But the show must go on, as they say. Yeah.
We're here, and it's rented, and we're just gonna go all out, man.
Yeah, we're going all out. And, we've got all kinds of things going on here technically that are kind of nightmarish.
Yeah, the broadcast drowning out. I don't know, maybe we were talking earlier about how maybe the whole system was just compromised.
Yeah, not a good.
It's no good.
Not a good thing. It's bad. So anyway, give us your thoughts. 877-722-7382. That's 877-SCARE-YOU2. There's a new call-in menu there that you can select from. I think you'll like it. It's a lot easier to navigate through now. But go ahead and give us a call, and we'll share your thoughts with us.
You gotta figure, though, when we've solved, half a dozen problems, that a half a dozen more just pop on up.
Of course. A genetic study bolsters Columbus link to syphilis. Columbus, here's the first line. This is out of the New York Times, a liberal paper. Here's the first line. I like it, though. Quote, Columbus, it seems, made another discovery of something that he was not looking for, end quote.
Everyone back then had syphilis. I don't know. I think it's the modern equivalent of, I don't know, calling somebody a racist or a bigot or something. Yeah.
You've got syphilis.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he had syphilis. But, it seems that everyone you bring up out of history, all those dead white men, all of them had syphilis. Ben Franklin, Beethoven.
Franklin have syphilis? I didn't know that.
They all had syphilis.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad you can't
I angered somebody with syphilis.
I'm so glad that you can't get sued for defaming a dead person.
No, in fact, isn't that when the statute of limitations ends on defamation, the day you die, or the second?
Yeah, you can't do it anymore.
In fact, there was some case, I think, actually, that set the precedent for that, wasn't there?
I don't remember.
Was it royalty or somebody?
I do not remember. I know.
I think it would be an interesting case law to look up, to be honest with you, though.
Well, still,
you should look it up, man.
The biggest travesty for me is the Bela Lugosi stuff with Dracula. I mean, I'm really upset about all that. His family should have got paid something because the man died penniless. We've got Adam from Nashville, Tennessee. How you doing, Adam?
Good. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great. Chuck's a native of Tennessee.
Yeah, Knoxville, man. Eastern Tennessee.
Knoxville?
Oh, yeah. World's Fair, man, 1982. I was there.
So was I, incidentally.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I think I was 7.
Yeah, I wasn't that old. I probably a couple years younger than you, actually. I remember seeing Kenny Rogers there, but if you've probably seen the episode of The Simpsons where they go to the World's Fair.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, the Wig Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
the sphere, the sun sphere they have there, I don't know. I somehow it crashes down, man. And apparently it's a storage space for wigs.
I was there.
There's not much there, man. I spent a semester in Knoxville at the UCK.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's supposed to be a college town.
I wasn't too. I don't know. Downtown, there's just nothing there. There's like tumbleweeds blowing around downtown.
Well, I know Nashville's pretty happening downtown there, man. I was in Nashville. It's probably been at least 10 years now. Yeah, but Nashville's definitely got it going on.
Yeah, Nashville's a great place. I'm originally from Chattanooga, though. You familiar with Chattanooga?
Oh, yeah, man. When I lived in East Tennessee, man, I was there quite often.
Now, you guys make some good whiskey.
It's the Springs.
Distillery is not too far from here.
There you go. Getting good with the spirits.
Come on over here. We'll take a field trip.
They got a lot of limestone or something around there. It does something to the water, I guess, that makes it prime for making bourbon.
Oh man.
Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys, you guys sound great. I heard a little bit of things going in and out at first, but sounds okay.
Okay, we're trying.
I'm not listening to it now since I'm on the phone with you guys.
Yeah, well, that's good. Most people just leave it on. You're in the background.
The echo effect. Got a question for you guys. 2 questions, actually.
Sure.
First question: when's there going to be some more podcasts?
I don't know. What's the last one that's up there?
I think it's the guy from Jars of Clay.
Really?
Oh, that was a while back, wasn't it?
That's Dee's fault then.
That was December, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's Dee's fault. Yeah, I think.
Paulino's coming on August 6, 2007. I'm looking forward to that.
Which one?
Paulino's coming on in August 6, 2007. I'm looking forward to that.
Paulino?
Oh, yeah.
Paulino, yeah.
I'm just joking with you guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, we had him on, didn't we? Yeah,
I'm saying,
I know, it's been a while.
Updated the site.
He's busting your balls, Jay Scott.
If you go to the site right now, man, it has been updated.
Has it been?
Yes, I did it over the weekend. No, I didn't know that D had
actually,
4 up.
Jay Scott, I got a question for you, and maybe you've already had this person on, but have you ever guys thought about putting Lynn Marzulli on?
Lynn Marzulli. That name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
Who is he, man?
He's been on, what can I say? Yeah, I can say it, Coast to Coast.
Yeah, you can say that.
He's been on there like 2 or 3 times. And
Lynn
he's got
Marzulli.
this whole, he's got a book out called The Politics, Prophecy, and the Supernatural.
Uh-huh.
And he's got like some fiction books called the Nephilim Trilogy.
Okay.
What's the?
He's really right up you guys' alley. I'm kind of surprised you haven't had him on.
I didn't know.
What's the premise of the politics one?
Well, mostly it's about talking about Iran and the Middle East and how that fits in with prophecy and Ezekiel 38.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
that's right up your alley, man.
It is. Well, we're
he
getting.
He talks about the Nephilim, and he talks about there's a Luciferian deception, and he talks about how
I got booted off
the Mothman. He talks about the Mothman a lot, and how the Mothman and crop circles and all these things. Space aliens are all part of it.
Sounds like he's been
Luciferian endgame.
Sounds like he's been listening to our show.
Yeah, well, no, I got booted off. I got booted off in a not so nice way from the Alan Handelman show because I was talking about the Nephilim and all that. He was just a real jerk to me. I mean, I couldn't believe it because he's always such a nice guy. He's just too liberal for his own good. He's
only willing to believe ridiculous stuff only up to a certain point.
Exactly. I mean, come on.
What do you think about that? I mean, Jay, I've heard you, I've listened to the show for a while, but, what do you think about the whole Nephilim?
I don't know.
You think there's something to that, or you think it's just misinterpretation, or?
I think the jury's still out on that for me. I think that, if you look back historically to the way it was taught in seminaries, which is where, all of our preachers came from, you'll see that up until a certain period of time, they did teach that pretty much dead on. I mean, and if you're coming from a Baptist or a fundamentalist perspective, I guess I should say, don't want to single those Baptists out, but if you're coming at it at a fundamentalist perspective, I think, if you say it's in the book, that's the way we read it, then maybe that's the way it should be interpreted.
Right.
I know when we are going to have...
It's pretty straightforward,
Yeah, no, we are going to have back Terry James pretty soon. I got his publisher contacted me the other day. He's got a sequel coming out to his books, and he talks a lot about the Nephilim and things like that. He wrote the Rapture Chronicles. What was it?
Yeah.
Rapture.
I remember listening to that. That was a good interview you guys had with him.
Rapture Diaries.
Rapture Dialogues. Rapture
Okay.
Dialogues. Yeah. And I don't know what the sequel's called. But that should be that's probably in our mailbox now. We haven't looked, but they contacted me about a week or two ago. But we've got good things planned.
L.A. Marzulli guy, man. I mean, it goes by Lynn Marzulli or L.A. Marzulli.
Yeah, Dee wrote it down.
That you guys would really, I think he'd be a good guest for you guys. Like I said, I'm kind of surprised he's never been on. He has many views that are in common with at least you, Jay Scott.
Hey, did you hear our one of our Halloween? I guess it wasn't a Halloween special, but it was was it Halloween special? The Sleepy Hollow thing.
Oh yeah, that was Halloween.
Yeah, I heard that. I listened to it though, like a week ago or so.
When it got put up. Yeah, I've been getting all these emails from people. Where's the podcast going to be put up? I'm like, listen live, dude. Oh, man. Now we're going to have this thing we're calling the Day of the Pods right now. What we're trying to do is we're basically going through and we're trying to get all of our people that listen to the podcast only to all show up on one night, which is, I think, March 10th? Is that what we agreed on? Monday, March 10th. And we're trying to get everybody there, and we're going to give away a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So cool. we want callers, man. So you got to listen on March 10th.
I probably will.
All right.
Most definitely.
Well, cool. Well, anything else on your mind, man?
I guess, I talked to you guys about this the last time. Are you planning on doing any kind of conference or trying it? Because one of the podcasts I listened to, you said you talked to the TAPS guys, and they said that then maybe they'd help you guys with a...
Yeah, we were actually talking about that. We were actually talking about that tonight. Me and Dee were actually going over some T-shirt design ideas, and thinking about doing it again. Yeah, I don't think you've seen him yet, Chuck.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, when you get here late, that's what happens. You miss things. But yeah,
I think that if you guys get the Tops guys, you pretty much got it made.
oh yeah, because they'll advertise it on their site. And I mean, they get only like 60 million hits a day, where we get like 10.
They're nationally and worldwide famous.
Oh, yeah.
that helps a little bit.
I know. I keep telling them I want a pilot, man. They're just not giving it to me. What's up? What gives? I want a pilot.
We're worldwide famous.
We're worldwide famous. That's right. In our own minds.
We got guys from England that call.
Thanks
I mean, there's other things going on. Because there's a lot of other conferences and stuff that's going on. So I don't know. Last year I went to Decatur, Illinois.
Oh, really?
Troy Taylor's conference up there, and that's really good. This year I think John Zaffis is going to be there.
I just spoke to John, and we had him on last week. Actually, we had him on and Father Larry. Yeah, an exorcist. Had him on last week. It was pretty good.
John's a good guy, isn't he? He's a really nice guy.
John
I met him at Louisville in September '06. So
well,
he's pretty down to earth. Pretty down to earth guy.
No, he really acts like that too when you're just hanging around at night in the middle of the night listening for bumps. He's a good guy.
Well, for doing what he does and seeing things that he's seen, you know.
Yeah, he calls me.
It seemed to have affected him very much. You know, I'd be running out of the room, but you know.
Me too. I mean, he calls me the heretic because I throw that Bible around.
You remember that story you told us about all the Egyptian stuff, right? You don't recall
I'm not. No. What are you talking about?
That he there was this wealthy woman, I guess, that he was consulting that had all this.
Oh yeah,
this
in their
Egyptian
house.
stuff that was all black market. You know, all this, mummies, the whole deal, man.
I don't. Can we tell this story on the air?
Well, we are now.
Okay.
But yeah, he was saying that basically, that there was a bad vibe there because all this stuff, was all the curse of the mummy, stuff from Abbott Costello.
Oh yeah.
But for real. And he was like, you gotta get rid of all this stuff. And apparently she eventually did get rid of this stuff, man. But yeah, I mean, all this black market stuff, and I hate to have used his name even in the story because now
Yeah, you're a jerk. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
The CIA or somebody, FBI is gonna be knocking on his door. You know anything about these these black market Egyptian?
Yeah.
Nope, I have no idea.
I don't know what those guys are talking about. Maybe you should ask Chuck Browder.
It's in my storage locker, actually. I keep it at public storage. Tutankhamun, King Tut.
I'm sorry. Have you guys talked to him about his museum that he has?
Oh yeah.
I believe that you did. Yeah.
It's in his house, man.
Yeah.
How could you live with that in the basement? I mean, talk about a creepy basement. Good God. Hey, I'm going to go downstairs and get a tool or something.
It's a little different than the Bill Beanie situation, I think, man, where you got the Elvis archive.
Alive, man.
That's one thing, but
you can get the cursed idol from the basement, and
Oh man.
Well, Adam, man, we appreciate you calling in tonight, man. Stay cool.
You too, guys. Keep me posted on anything that you guys do.
Okay.
You got my email address, J. Scott.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, sir.
You guys an email or something.
All right, man. Well, hey, before you go, who are you rooting for in this presidential candidate?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go for Edwards, man, in the primary.
Are you really? Are you a liberal?
Well, I'm kind of just in between. I'm really nothing. I don't really consider myself either, really.
Are you a populist?
I'm kind of there with Chuck. I really like Edwards. I voted for him in 2004. So.
Oh, right on, man. I appreciate that.
I don't like Hillary.
Chuck's a flip flopper.
I'm not a flip-flopper.
Chuck's a flip-flopper. He worked for Vernon Robinson's campaign and then John Edwards. They're like diametrically opposed.
Yeah, but I've told you I hate incumbents, man.
Obviously. But that's cool. All right. Well, I think Edwards is probably the better choice out of the three evils.
Yeah, hopefully he can pull some off here in South Carolina.
I really can't see him go far because I think it's between Clinton and Obama. But
it's hard to win a primary when you take public financing too, and he was really forced to. He didn't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, that's true.
When did you guys' primary? When is North Carolina?
It's
May
not.
or
Yeah, it's like
June.
May 4th. At least last I checked. They
one
may push
cares.
it back. Yeah.
Yeah, ours is on Super Tuesday. So
Oh, that's cool.
Last time I think North Carolina was a player was back in '76 when Reagan ran against Ford for the
76.
nomination. Yeah.
Yep. Probably right.
oh, you guys take care. Have a great show. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
buddy.
man. You too.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, people are out there. They're hearing us. This is a good thing. It's not too broke back yet here at the studio. Doesn't seem that way.
Too bad we don't have the music back then.
That was awful. I can't believe.
Oh, it's
y'all did
awful.
that.
It's an awesome song, man. What are you talking about? It's an awesome film too, man. You're just afraid.
That's
Afraid-
what it is.
You're just
I'm
afraid it'll turn you gay.
I'm afraid it'll turn me gay.
That's what all you conservatives are afraid of.
That's
with
right,
that
Sean.
movie.
I'm just afraid it'll make me want to be with you.
I hope not.
Me too, 'cause I'm in between you.
Yeah, that's right. A little D sandwich.
I was gonna say hot for Jake Gyllenhaal, but I wasn't even gonna go there, man. I didn't know you felt that way about me, Jay Scott.
I'll start listening to Melissa Etheridge records.
I can't quit you.
Oh, good Lord.
But yeah, Ang Lee originally told what's his name, Randy Quaid, that was in that, and he was only in that briefly. It was like their boss that sent them up into the mountains in the first place.
Oh, really?
But yeah, apparently he was told by Ang Lee that this is a film he was making pretty much for himself. And it was never really going to see the light of day. And it was for his own satisfaction. It was only going to be a small indie flick. No one was really ever going to see it. It wasn't going to make any money. And then it turned out to be a huge blockbuster. Film at the box office. And then he was like, okay, I want my 8 or 12 million. I think I ended up civilly suing Ang Lee. By I guess having the contract or issuing the contract under false pretenses.
Well, you remember.
Did he have much of a case?
I don't know, man.
That was probably settled out of court. They made enough money off it. They probably could have paid him something.
Well, the film, what was it, Jesus Camp?
Yeah. In fact, I've seen that. It was pretty scary.
I enjoyed the film.
I'm sure you did. You probably felt right at home there.
I did. I'm like, man, this is great. The only thing that was really
it's too
creepy,
bad all those children were sexually abused.
Oh, whatever. Give me a break. We're not talking about the Catholics here.
Well, I'm not actually kidding. There was one of these children that was out there. It was the little girl that was there that I think was pretty obviously messed with.
I haven't seen the movie in a while. I don't know if any of those kids were diddled in the making of the film.
Well, I don't think it was within the making. I think, but that's why she was there at Jesus Camp, trying to.
Well, I just thought it was funny that some of the stuff. The one thing that scared me to death was when they had like the life-size cardboard cutout of President Bush. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like in the little thing with him, in the little church area. This cardboard cutout of George W. Bush.
I mean, I know you, Jay Scott. You don't spend that much time, or really any, in church.
Oh, come on now.
Well,
I go by sometimes.
You may go by there from time to time, but I have to ask you this question: Do you really trust, or even think it's not a little strange that these people spend that much time at these institutions?
No, I don't think there's anything.
You don't think there's anything wrong with that?
No, I don't. I mean, better than them spending the time at the local pub.
Well, I don't know about that either. But I don't know. I think both of them were equally distasteful. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hurt man at sea phones his pub for help. Speaking of pubs, I had to sneak that in. A sailor was alone on his 37.
Hey, that wasn't my stack. You
I
just
stole it. Yeah, actually, I didn't steal it. Dee stole it, and now I have it. Anyway, he was alone on this 37-foot boat in the western Atlantic Ocean. He broke his hip, and he called the pub in England for help. He was 61 years old. He called the Bull's Head Pub in Fishbourne, and saying he had fallen and fractured his pelvis. And he was about 600 miles away from Bermuda, contacted the British Coast Guard, which notified the U.S. Coast Guard. Quote, I don't know why he didn't put out an SOS, but maybe he didn't want to make a big alert. He called his pub. He called his pub. An oil tanker came to his rescue hours later, and his boat was left adrift. So he just lost his boat, I guess, over that thing. I bet he's drinking it up in the pub tonight.
He was probably insured.
Yeah.
If he was smart, it was.
I have a friend who has a small boat now that wants to buy a boat in the next few years and actually take it around, just around, not really around the world, but, around and go into different places with it.
I don't know, man.
On the ocean, and he's like sitting in now, and he's like messing getting his little license to be a boat person.
The sea is a salty, winch. It's definitely
salty winch.
It's something, man. You don't want to screw with it. If you mess with it, you'll get the horns. Sort of deal.
The sea. Well, yeah, there's still pirates out there, man.
Oh well, yeah, and
except nowadays they don't go ARG with an eye patch and a sword. They got AK-47 assault rifles.
Somalia, there's a lot of it going on, man. In fact, that's where that Carnival cruise liner was attacked by.
Oh my gosh, that's a big boat for them to try to jump on.
No, apparently they tried to swamp them with the bow, man, with evasive actions, and then also had pre-recorded gunfire that they were broadcasting.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
Apparently it scared them off.
Our number toll free, 1-877-SCARE-YOU2. That's 1-877-722-7382. Or locally, 336-996-1596. All of those numbers can be viewed on our website at worldoftheunexplained.com. Sorry, just had to throw that in there. It's more people calling. We've got a new call menu. It's a lot easier to navigate through. So give us a shout. Let us know what you think, what you're thinking about politics, about weird things. We want to apologize again. We were scheduled to have Lorraine Warren on the show tonight from the Amityville horror fame and the new show Paranormal State, which she has been a part of. Unfortunately, there was a death in the family, and Lorraine had to cancel on us last minute. But fear not, she will be coming back on in the future.
Oh, have you heard? I was just trying to think of conspiracy theories, that I've heard lately. Any of them that have been any good? But I did hear within the last 48 hours, apparently, and I don't know if there's any truth to it. But it's one of these conspiracy theories going out and rumors going on around out there that there's a recount for the New Hampshire primary.
Oh yeah, no, this is true. I heard it on the
and I
radio
think it was Kucinich.
It was. He demanded a recount. He's already put up the money and everything.
Really?
Yeah. Why?
That's interesting.
There's the question is why?
Because I think he thinks that a lot of the third-tier candidates, a lot of their votes ended up being shuffled into Clinton's pile.
Really?
Yeah.
So he really thinks that Obama won?
Yeah.
That's amazing. You can also log on to our chat room. Just go to worldoftheunexplained.com, click on the chat button, and it'll take you in there. We're sitting in there right now. We had somebody in there that left as soon as I came in. That shows my popularity.
You scared them off?
Listeners, yes, they don't want to talk to me.
It was all that radical stuff you've been preaching, man.
I tell you what, man, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
There are plenty of guys out there on AM radio that do it.
Yeah, but that's
not you?
That's not me. Well, yeah, I guess it is. Gosh, that's awful. But no, we're not only AM, we're FM too. KWSS,
Booyah.
Arizona Alternative Radio. That's right. That's right, man. That FM station, it lets us have our way.
What is that golf course that's out there in Scottsdale?
I do not know.
I can't. I think that one of the ones they play on the PGA Tour.
Come on, we see, we know some of you guys out there in Scottsdale are listening. Give us a call and tell us what the name of this.
Probably still light out there. They may still be golfing.
It probably is actually. I think we're drive time out there, aren't we?
Yeah,
I think we are.
Actually,
they don't change time zones.
No, they don't, and because
or daylight savings.
It's not. Yeah, they don't observe daylight savings, so therefore, I think they are technically on Pacific time.
I don't know.
It's something like
I think
that.
so.
You have a lot of people that commute from out there too to California, so
that'd be kind of cool not having to set your watch back.
That'd be great.
Just always the same time.
Yeah, actually, I thought that that the federal government experimented with that for a little while.
Well, we used to
and then reinstituted. Wasn't it for a couple of years in the 90s or 80s or something that they did away with
but if you go back further in the 50s
with daylight savings time? Yeah, that's right. In the 50s and 60s, they didn't have it at all. But I think the real reason we have it anyway is it's assumed worker productivity, that you have increased productivity the more light period of time you have during the day with light.
That's true.
So the more period, the more light you have, I guess, from the hours of 9 to 5, the more productivity, in theory, a business will have. I think a lot of that comes from agriculture, too.
I think it's just human.
Yeah, but the farmers don't care what time it is.
The farmer's almanac, they know when it's gonna rise and set. It's in the almanac.
That's true. That's true.
They put it there.
I looked at. I think the almanac was wrong.
I don't know who actually even writes the farmers. Is it a group of farmers that by
have no
consensus
idea.
agree with these?
Sounds
facts?
good. Went to press.
It's going to be 38-degree dew point on January the 24th,
Well, no,
2009.
the way that they do the weather forecasting, you know how this is done, right? They use sunspots.
Oh, okay.
That's the way they predict they use climate change data with sunspots.
Well, they do use previous models, I think.
They use that
and then
too.
they do have, I guess, models where they can forecast out and have a decent idea as far as how a system will progress.
Well, that's
or
what I'm saying.
front
Though,
will.
that sunspots is part of that formula, that equation.
I think it's a 200.
It probably plays into it. Yeah, I know that they.
Now, for those of you out there that don't know what sunspots are, we'll explain real quickly. They're tiny explosions on the surface. Well, they're not really tiny. I guess they're huge explosions on the surface of the sun because the sun is always in a state of constant evil because, well, it's a star and it's burning. It's on fire, people. That's how we stay warm.
Because it's like jetsam or whatever that comes out of the star. It's cooling, so it appears darker than the star itself.
There you go.
Hence the sunspots.
Exactly.
But I think they emit radio waves or something to that effect. Maybe it's solar wind that accompanies them.
I believe so.
But that's what causes the aurora borealis.
I was given
it.
the dime explanation. The 5 cents.
I just had to
10 cent
one up you, man. You know.
I noticed that.
That's how I'll do you here.
I see that.
Especially after that comment about Brokeback Mountain.
Oh my gosh, you and that Brokeback Mountain. Oh my gosh.
It was a good film, I'm telling you.
I bet you liked
the Academy Award. The people at the Academy knew what they were talking about when they put that one up.
I bet they did. See, here's what we need. We need another good movie like Patton. That's what we need. We need another good.
You probably
general
like Cliffhanger.
Patton. I've never seen that film. It looked really dull, so I didn't watch it. No.
Dull? It's an action flick.
I know. It looked really. I don't like action movies in general.
Really?
Really. Now Patton is not really. I mean, Patton's a drama, man. There's some action sequences in it, but it's a drama movie.
I've seen it once a long time. Who was it? George C. Scott.
Yeah, man, he did a great job.
He was a good actor.
Yeah, he was. He was a Christmas Carol. My favorite rendition. My favorite rendition of the Christmas Carol. Dickens' Christmas Carol was with George C. Scott. It was my favorite.
Who did he play in it?
He played Scrooge in it.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. He played Scrooge. He was the leading man, dude. That was good stuff. And then there was a Patton's, that sequel that they did to the Patton movie. Patton's Last Days. I've never seen all that.
Was he in it too?
Of course, he was Patton again, dude.
That's terrible. It was so popular they had to come out with a sequel.
They made a sequel, Patton's Last Days. Yeah. Good stuff,
to a docu-pic.
Good stuff. 877-722-7382.
That's like JFK being so popular. You got to put out a sequel to it and recast Kevin Costner as what's his name, Garrett down there in New Orleans, maybe
Jim Garrison.
Or Garrison. There you go, man.
That was a really good film.
Maybe him running again in the 80s or 90s or whatever he ran again for was a district attorney.
I don't know.
Look.
Obama's minister honored Farrakhan for a lifetime achievement. Oh my!
Obama's
gosh.
Minister did?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the story here.
Well, you really can't control the actions of other people.
Yeah, but
after I really slammed Obama in the last hour,
well,
I'm going to come to his defense here and say exactly that. I mean, what control does he have over his pastor? What control do you have over yours?
Wait a minute. Okay, he described Jews as bloodsuckers.
Who, Farrakhan?
Yeah, that's what it was. Farrakhan.
Okay, there you go.
Farrakhan's repeatedly made hate-filled
That's
statements.
not news.
Targeted Jews, whites, America, and homosexuals. Well, at least, we're on the homosexual part. Let's see. He's called whites blue-eyed devils and the Antichrist. Yeah. Wow.
Like I said, none of this is news. This is all stuff people have known about Farrakhan for 20 years.
I know. What's his gig, man?
What do you mean, what's his gig?
He says that he said that satanic Jews have taken over BET, the Black Entertainment Network.
That's interesting.
I'd love to hear that theory, how it plays out. I really would. I'd love to hear how that theory plays out.
Apparently it's the same people defending Hillary Clinton and making trying to remind people that Barack Obama did blow in his book.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, man. If you're going to be the president one day, you probably shouldn't do cocaine. You know?
Well, Bush did it, and he's been in office for 8 years. Yeah.
Well, you know, and that was a big
Bush
mistake.
did a lot of it. He was still doing it in the 90s. That wasn't that long ago.
He was still doing it in the 90s.
When he was one of the guys on the
hey Dick,
one of the owners of the Rangers down there in Texas, he was still doing it.
Pass me a line there. Hook old George up.
And you can tell even from his mannerisms, it appears like he's had some sort of Bell palsy or small stroke or something from the overuse of it, man.
Oh my gosh.
Why do you think he's such a health nut now?
Oh my gosh.
It was all that hard living. If he expects to make it to 60, man, you got to jog.
Oh man. I just can't say anything to that. That's just really. I didn't vote for him either time, so I'm free.
I didn't vote for him either time either. Man.
I know.
In fact, I had to swallow,
swallow the bullet,
really
man.
nasty pill, man. Especially that second time.
I know.
I mean, there was a time when I actually liked Al Gore. I had to come back around to him, man, to vote for him in 2000. But that voting for Kerry, if Edwards hadn't been on that ticket, I might have actually even voted for George Bush.
Wow, that's saying something.
Just for continuity's sake, because Kerry really, I think there was a strong argument for continuity, because Kerry really would have taken the country, both foreign policy and socially, in a totally radically different direction.
Well, I don't think it would
have been great for the country either. I'm not sure that there would have been, the period of time to adjust to it.
I think that Trent's in our chat room. Why is Third Rail playing instead of Wotu?
Is it really?
No. He's thinking he's listening to Third Rail, I guess, because of what we're saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, because our guest, I won't say bailed, had extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of flying here solo.
We're flying by the seat of our pants.
I was going to say that, but it was fairly I thought it was
cliched.
Cliche.
Yeah, it was because we're not really wearing any. No, it's a great thing about radio.
That's how we roll here at Woo too.
No pants. Pants are not permitted in the studio.
And no boxers either, only briefs.
That's right. Whitey tighties, boys. All three of us.
Yeah, that's just a disgusting image right there.
Hey, you're the guy watching Brokeback Mountain, man. Don't be telling me about
it's
disgusting
one scene.
image.
It's one scene for like 10 seconds.
Well, that was just like one mental image that I put in your head for less than 10 seconds.
I know, and it's going to be engraved there. It's burned into it till the day I die.
Oh, me.
It's disgusting, man. I don't know. No amount of showers is ever going to get me clean after that.
Oh. Give us a call here, 877-722-7382. That number toll free, 877-722-7382. And there goes the phones again, man. They're crazy.
We're coming to the bottom of the hour here. I think we're going to have to take a short break. But hopefully we can keep the caller on the line here. And,
maybe we'll catch this before break. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Oh, it's Trent. Okay, yeah.
No.
Let him on. What's up, man?
Okay, when you guys started talking about no pants in the room,
yeah, you were wishing that you were here, weren't you?
Yeah, it's top secret, man. You can't be talking about.
It could be you that Scott's lusting over.
Wotu thing, And then secret initiations. Come on, man.
That's right.
You want everybody inside the secret circle. The whole purpose of having a secret circle is the fact that it has secret rituals.
Yeah,
are you talking about a secret circle or a circle?
Oh, come on now. Don't push the FCC.
Secret circle. Come on, we talk about like the Masons.
Circle of trust, man.
Yeah, the circle of trust.
Is that what you're calling it now?
That's right, Yeah, Fokker. The circle of trust.
Who's the pivot man in it?
Oh.
Oh, Chuck.
Yeah, watch it, man.
If you sweet talk it a little more, you might be.
Don't tempt me.
Nah, you know the old saying. a friend will help you move, and a real friend will help you move body.
That's right.
That's what we're talking about here.
That's right. That's right. We're boys, going way back, old school, kicking it.
Anyway, yeah, I really thought I was third girlfriend playing for whatever reason. I don't know what.
Yeah, because we're just we were just talking about anything, everything.
Really, what were you talking about before? Oh, you're talking politics. That's right.
Yeah.
Politics.
We only did it because the callers brought it up.
The callers brought it up.
That's
Okay,
true.
well, I'm not going to bring it up.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm in a secret, undisclosed location where my plague contagion will be minimized.
Yeah, you keep that plate there, brother.
Yeah, I won't infest and infect the society in general.
That's a good thing.
Everybody knows precarious are the last to go anyway.
It's true.
But I don't really have any kind of anything to say. I was just kind of really wasting time. That's pretty much what you guys were doing, the no pants thing. I can't believe you people that. You know what? This reminds me of a crazy story. I remember when we were going to Grandfather Mount Scott, and you were with some girl.
I remember that. It was New Year's Day, I believe.
No, that was Pilot Run. But I mean,
I was there. You were there. Dan Rather was there. 1989.
1974. But anyway, and our Korean roommate, whom we won't mention his name.
Okay.
And he was in the front seat, and we're driving through Wilkesboro, and we're driving along, and there are like people passing us, and we're going like, "Yeah, man, don't you know? Nobody in Wilkesboro drives with their pants on. It's just the thing they do around here, And like do you remember that at all? And we totally got that guy convinced that people in Wilkesboro apparently don't drive with pants on.
But we were really mean we're mean in a good way. I mean, we tell him later that we were messing with him.
Jived him a lot, but
we had I had this Korean roommate named Moon Young Lee, and he's from Seoul.
I was gonna give his name. He might.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you know how many Young Lees there are in Seoul, Korea? I tried to call him one night, but anyway, that's another story.
And actually, that might turn out to be a good thing. Maybe Moon Young Lee will find this somehow.
And call us.
Get in touch with us. Wouldn't it be awesome?
That would be awesome. Yeah,
we need to have the meta tags for this.
Moon Young Lee.
When he puts his own name in.
Yeah, Moon Young Lee from Seoul, Korea, who roomed with Jay Scott
back in 1997
in UNC Charlotte at F103.
That's right. But no, the funny thing was about all that is that we just tried to not identify him, and you just did. But the funny thing about all that was
we've been doing that all night too.
I remember.
Well, because now I wanted to turn a different way. Maybe I was trying to get in touch with him by using this lone voice in the darkness through
exactly
the sphere of cyberspace and the radio airwaves across the planet. From here to Seoul, Korea, or wherever.
That's right. But no, I just remember one time I tried to tell him that the plural of moose was meese, like goose and geese, and he's like no, and I'm like, no, look, man, it's like goose, geese.
That poor
moose,
guy
meese.
Probably never learned to speak English.
No, he did. Actually, he was pretty good at
his
English.
grammar was probably way better than ours.
Oh yeah, his accent was horrible though. Oh man, the accent was
like his pronunciation, of course, was a little tricky. But I mean, people who study foreign languages have a better grasp on grammar than like native speakers, anyway. I think.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, because they have to study it where you just kind of grew up speaking it, But he didn't buy that at all. Old Mooney.
Oh, Mooney, good guy. Well, Trent, I hate to do this to you, but we're gonna take a break. The last break of the night.
That's right.
We're kicking you, man.
Okay.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, okay. I'll hopefully I'll be out of this plague quarantine. See you later, D. See you, Chuck.
Take it easy, man.
Bye. All right. That was Trent Lackey. And we're going to take a short break. 877-722-7382. We'll be back after this.
I don't get to do that on the other show.
You could. But it might scare some people.
Yeah, and they may not get it either, I guess. Although, I don't know. Touch it, you might get shocked, scare you too.
I'm serious.
Maybe that all goes together.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. It'll blow your mess right out, man. Hopefully he won't blow his mess right out here either, man.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh, let me get that coat off. It's irritatingly cold outside tonight.
Yeah, it got cold here pretty quickly, actually. I don't know what's been up with this weather either, and I hope no one says it's global
warming. Yeah, it's global warming, all right. What about global cooling? What about that? What about some of that, man? National Geographic, 1940s and 50s. They were telling us all about some global cooling.
Well, I mean, I think global warming is a problem, but I think there are more paramount issues as far as the environment is concerned than global warming.
Yeah.
I think industrial pollutants should be at the top of people's list. I know that the autism rates have increased. I know part of that has to do with the psychological, or I guess it is the psychological community has broadened the spectrum for what's considered autism now. So that has something to do with it. But at the same time, rates are increasing.
Yeah.
So, that there may be some correlation there. I mean, you look at cancer rates, a whole host of issues, and I think a lot of that can be traced back to industrial pollutants. Mercury, arsenic, argon, stuff like that in your water, your food, and it'll probably cause a few problems.
It could. 877 scare you too. Oh, man. Free cheese sticks at Papa John's when you purchase any large specialty pizza.
Hey, they're not paying us for that.
That's true. No, I was just messing around.
Somebody sounds hungry over here.
I'm not, actually. Really, I'm not.
I am.
Are you?
I am. And that was making me pretty damn hungry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
As bad as that Papa John's is.
Yeah, it is some nasty stuff,
bad
brother.
stuff.
It is some nasty stuff. All that stuff's bad.
And they usually screw me on the pepperoncinis, too, man.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. A lot of the time I don't get it. Or the butter sauce, which is just basically heartburn and little damn container. Heartburn and cholesterol,
sauce.
man. I don't even think it's really even butter. I think it's like that stuff they spray, that high fructose corn syrup they just drip on your popcorn when you go to the movie theater. That's what that stuff is, man. It ain't butter you're getting.
That's good stuff, though, man.
Jesus.
No, let me tell you a story about this butter stuff at the theater. I went. I don't remember who I was with. I think Dee. I think you might have been to the movie with me. I'm not sure. There's a big group of us, and I'd got this extra large thing of popcorn. And I'm like, extra butter. The guy put so much butter. Were you there with me? Yeah.
Did it drip out the bottom on your pants?
They double bagged it. And it was still seeping through the double bag. I had napkins underneath. I got all over my pants. But man, that was some of the best nasty popcorn.
That's giving me diarrhea just thinking about it.
Yeah, that was some of the best stuff I'd ever had. Every bite was buttery deliciousness.
Oh.
That's why I'm going to have a coronary probably one day. Good stuff, though.
Well, the one saving grace is that it wasn't really butter, man. It was just high fructose corn syrup. So you'll live.
Good for me. Good stuff, though.
A little longer than you would if it
had been butter. Yeah. I can't believe it's not butter.
But that's your agro subsidies for you right there. All those ethanol subsidies that they get out there in Iowa that make them such a key player in our primaries, man.
The Iowa caucus.
That's a product of it right there. That sludge they put on your popcorn,
and
the little cup of sludge, heartburn in a container Papa John's gives you too.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Same stuff,
and it's good, man. It tastes good. 877-722-7382.
Yeah, if anyone else has a high fructose corn experience, you could give us a call there.
Toll free.
Yeah, why not?
You don't even have to pay for the phone call. New menu setup, too. It's easier to navigate through to get right to us.
Now you can drop the elbow on that, man.
That's right, man. Just hit 1. As soon as you hear me come on there, hit 1. You're in. That's right. Oh, man. But have you guys seen the new Terminator series remake?
I haven't watched it yet. I've got it on my TiVo.
Oh, I knew you TiVo everything, man.
Well, I'm a huge fan of that Terminator.
I wonder how it's going to be.
Franchise.
I'm wondering how it's going to be.
It'll be interesting, man. I don't have huge expectations for it because it is a made for TV series.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could exceed expectations. So I guess that's why I'm trying to keep them low. I want to like it.
Okay.
Because I love all three of those films. I think even the most recent one they did, I thought that was awesome too.
I thought my favorite was T2.
Yeah, that would be your favorite.
Well,
big budget.
Yeah, man, Hollywood.
Immensely successful at the box office.
Of course. Guns N' Roses, man.
Yeah, and GNR was on it.
Yeah.
That was a hot single.
That was a good video
album.
for that,
yeah.
too. You remember the video for that?
Yeah, I was in heaven,
so
dude.
Matt
I was
Sorum was on drums.
I was like 13 years old, I think, when both of those came out, man. And there was nothing more that I was into, I think, at the time, other than maybe chicks, other than maybe like Guns N' Roses and like Arnold Schwarzenegger, man.
Oh yeah, man, it was good stuff.
I think that was right after too. He had done Total Recall, man. And that may be
Total
my favorite.
Recall was a great film.
That may be my favorite Schwarzenegger film
And
by far.
and that's one of those that you don't really hear a lot of hype.
Well, the author that wrote the book, I think that the screenplay is based off of, is the same guy who wrote, let me think, Blade Runner, Imposter, and I think that one with Tom Cruise that came out a number of years ago. What was that one called? Minority Report.
Oh, that was a good movie.
So the same guy that wrote all those films wrote Total Recall as well.
I did not know that.
But yeah, all those are they're great films. Even The Imposter, man, which didn't get a whole lot of play here in the States. I don't know how it did overseas, but that's Gary Sinise.
Well, I'm still trying to hopefully catch the Highlander, the Source movie that Dee apparently saw a cut of on Sci-Fi when they aired that originally. I think in September. They aired it like one other time, and I missed it. And I don't know if they're going to re-air it or not, and I don't know when it's ever going to get out to
Those
DVD.
Sci-Fi made-for-TV flicks, though, are so bad.
Well, I
remember seeing
they
the
did
Dune
a release. They did a
one.
release in Russia apparently, and you can actually get it on the internet if you buy it from Russia. But that's, from what I understand, that's not the way it was cut together here
Huh.
for the American release. So I don't know. I want to see it though.
But this is a made-for-TV deal, right?
It started out not being that way.
No, it started out being a regular movie.
A regular
Yeah,
movie.
I think that's the same thing that happened with the Dungeons and Dragons one that ended up being a made-for-TV.
Well, the original went out. They went to theaters, didn't it?
The first one, there was a second one, Dungeons and Dragons one, though, and I think that it ended up getting picked up by Sci-Fi because none of the studios would release it in the theaters after the great success of the first one.
The second one was so much better.
Dee says the second one was better. I've got it on disc at my house. I haven't watched it yet.
What was the first one? I've heard from everyone I hear.
The first one had
everybody says
Jeremy Irons. It had one of the Wayans brothers in it.
Yep.
And a couple other, I guess, like, sort of up-and-coming actors that never really did anything.
Really?
And the princess was more like Padawan.
Yeah. It was actually it was the Star Wars girl. Padawan. I can't remember her name offhand. She's pretty hot though. Yeah.
That's the only thing we know about her. She's hot though.
But yeah,
was it Natalie something? Natalie Portman.
That's right.
Yeah, she is hot.
Right.
She's a hottie.
But yeah, she was in it too, I guess, as the princess, and yeah, it was.
She can be my princess any day.
Well, I appreciated seeing some of the stuff from Dungeons and Dragons realized on the big screen. It was a pretty bad movie, all in all.
I never saw it, and everyone told me not to, so I never did.
Watch the second one; it's much better.
But Dee says the second one, you got to watch it. It's much better. I'll have to check it out at some point here. Actually, there was another DVD of Dungeons and Dragons one that came out a couple of years ago, and maybe in the last year or two. It's that reason. But it was a Choose Your Own Adventure DVD that was really awesome, man.
Well, I saw that they did that. They had tried to do that with the. What was it? All those sequels they put out to that movie where everybody dies because they're running from death.
Not Saw.
No, they're running from it, and it always catches up with them.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was like was it Scream or?
No, it's not Scream. That's to do with
I Know
the
What You
mask.
Did Last Summer.
No, that's not it either. Final Destination.
Oh, that's right. It was Final Destination. Was that released straight to video?
I can't remember. I believe it
maybe
have been.
Maybe that's how they were trying to sell it then.
But they market it to where, like, there's key points in the movie where it comes up
you
and
can choose who dies.
Yeah, or choose do they do this or do they do that, and it was pretty cool.
I'll have to rent that one too, man, through Netflix. That sounds like it'd be a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I enjoy that stuff. I mean, that's something that can keep me occupied for hours on end.
Yeah.
Not that I need it, man. I got enough stuff to do.
You've got so much TiVo to watch. It's backlogged. I mean, how much can that hard drive actually hold?
That's only 80 gigs, man. I have to rip it out constantly.
Oh, man, you poor guy.
That's terrible.
Poor man.
There's not enough space for all my, hardcore news junkie stuff. And
that's right, man. He's on the Pulse of America.
HBO dramas and, South Park.
Oh, what an awful show. 877-722-7382, 877-SCARE-YOU-2. Call and be
those guys hate
one of the
political
final
correctness,
callers
too.
of the night. Yeah, I agree. Some of the stuff's okay. Some of the stuff's, I don't know. I can't believe it's still on. One show I cannot believe is still on is The Simpsons. Don't get me wrong, I like The Simpsons. But I cannot believe that show was run for as long as it has.
John Ashcroft's favorite show.
Is it really?
Yeah. Former Attorney General.
Yeah,
It's
I know who John Ashcroft is.
Well, I was letting the listeners in on it. If they didn't, excuse me.
I've got that book. I've got that book that he wrote, man. I actually.
Well, it appears, we always thought he was the crazy one, covering up all the statues in the mall up there. Any nakedness, they had to cover it up with a little not fig leaf.
Pasty, black pasties.
Drapes. They put drapes all over.
Black pasties for the. Wait, can I say no? Oh man, I did it again.
Yeah. You're just a bad boy, Jay Scott.
Sorry, D.
But no, it turns out that Ashcroft was a pretty decent guy.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was one who was sticking up for the Constitution. I think it was Gonzalez when he was still the president's attorney. Came in there when I think he was still drugged up after having an operation and was trying to usurp authority.
Imagine that.
And it just turned out, I think it was Ashcroft's deputy, or I guess it's the Advocate General, I think is the number 2 Attorney General. And he came in there to make sure nothing was going on. But I guess when he got down there, it was Gonzalez and Harriet Myers were down there trying to strong arm, a drugged up Ashcroft, and Ashcroft was going to have none of it, even in his drugged up state. He said, "Well, that's the Attorney General right there," and pointed to his subordinate.
Oh wow!
Saying that you guys aren't going to. And I think it had to do with maybe it was the roving wiretaps.
Oh man,
that may have been what it had to do with. I'd have to go back and look it up.
Yeah, that would be good stuff. I haven't read the book yet.
But Ashcroft was actually a stand-up guy. I don't agree with him on his social issues. He is one of these guys. I think that is one of these religious fundamentalists that'll dance with rattlesnakes.
They still do that here in North Carolina.
Yeah, I do know that. In fact, I have a friend who's he doesn't see this girl anymore. He was with her for a number of years, but she got fairly religious, or radically religious, and would go out west. In western North Carolina
that's where all that stuff is, man.
Yeah,
western.
That's pretty. You don't find that stuff crazy either, man.
No, I find that stuff crazy. Yeah. That is crazy. And I think there's a town called.
It's not Advance, is it?
No, I believe there's a town called Spindale. If you guys have ever heard of this in North Carolina, where they have one of these huge super churches. That does something like that from what I remember reading.
They dance with. See, I've got one of those by my home too, but I think they're non-denominational, or I think it's what do they call it? Charismatic, evangelical charismatic, or something to that effect. But yeah, they're not dancing with snakes over there, at least not that I know of. If they are, then I'll have to move.
Oh come on, Chuck.
I'm all for tolerance, but dancing with rattlesnakes, I mean, that could be, possibly, endangering myself.
I mean, I'm all for tolerance too, but Islamberg, come on, give me a break.
Islamberg, what are you talking about?
In New York, the thing Paul L. Williams was talking about. Right.
Islamberg.
Yeah, it's where there are big compounds at where they train each other.
The one that really has me worried is actually that Red Rock that's up in Lynchburg that's not too far from here.
Oh, wonderful.
There are a number of dastardly guys that have been through there.
What I want to know, you take out Waco, but you let these guys, you leave them alone? I mean...
Yeah, and I don't know. To my knowledge, some of these guys may not even be, here legitimately. Some of them may be illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
That are there. And, to my knowledge, all the people that were, down
Waco,
there at Mount Carmel were all legitimate.
I'd like to get one of those Branch Davidians on the show.
I'm telling you, man, we need to find David Thibodeau's contact.
I've tried.
I know. And hopefully we'll see him somewhere else, so maybe we can get somebody's publicist or something to give us an idea of how we can get in contact with him.
That's right.
And I know they still have a church down there on Mount Carmel.
Really?
And he's probably involved with that. That's probably the best way for us to try and get in contact with him. But it'd be interesting to maybe have him on and maybe try and get Webb Hubble or somebody else that was involved in the incident on the other side.
So what do you think happened with all that?
With what exactly?
With the Waco thing. You think it was a big old conspiracy?
Well, there are a number of things. Somehow I think that Koresh was an informant for the ATF, and somehow things kind of got turned back on him. Either that or the ATF ended up just selling him out because they needed good PR. I think that's most likely what happened. that he was a paid informant. They kind of turned on him because after Ruby Ridge and some of the other incidents with ATF, they were getting ready to be disbanded.
Well, I mean, I would love to have the Ruby Ridge guy on the show, but he doesn't have a phone.
Oh, come on, man. I'm sure he's got a cell phone. Something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Although if I were him, I'd be pretty paranoid, too. I mean, they killed his wife.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. I saw a little documentary on that. It's pretty wild.
Well, both of those are just travesties. The U.S. military forces, or paramilitary or whatever you want to call it, should never be utilized in that manner against U.S. citizens. Yeah,
I agree. Well, guys, it looks like it's that time again. Once again, we apologize for not having Lorraine Warren with us tonight. She had a death in the family. We send out our condolences to her.
Most definitely.
And hers. Anyway, I'm Jay Scott. You're only JD DJ on the OmniSound Radio 1 network, and we will see you next week. Chuck?
Oh, and this is Chuck Browder dropping science at you at 64,000 kilobytes per second. And remember to tune in to Third Rail Radio at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Wednesday nights.
That's right.
Right here on OmniSound.
You can check it out at thirdrailradio.com.
That's right. See you guys next week for another fun-filled edition of World of the Unexplained. Good night.